I made a Luna Crosshair for her projectile freeze that reaches all ranges. First, I wanted to see where a person in movement would be to actually get frozen. I noticed that it was somewhere near the wall lining up for me to initiate that ability. So, I went into settings to adjust the lines further out, but the circle didn't really matter at this point. When the robot would almost hit the edge of the line, I needed to initiate that ability. Here, I wanted to test if the lines actually mattered, so I checked to see if using different angles of the lines could still work horizontally. But there was no actual placement of on the crosshair to follow or predict when to activate the ability. I had to move the crosshair slightly just to make sure that it landed with that crosshair. So, one last time, I wanted to make sure I can freeze enemies from different ranges with the same crosshair. Now to move on to the flyers. There was no marker on this crosshair to always get the shot, so I was testing to see when I should right click, but because of the diagonal movement, it was tricky to only use what I have been previously using as a marker, so we needed a new one. I had the circle, but I tested to see when to time the freeze on the crosshair, whether it was slightly outside of the circle or maybe right when it hits the circle circumference. And there it was. You right click as soon as it is about to touch the circumference. So, moving on to the range, with the random movement people tend to have, I made sure to test the crosshair for its accuracy in distance. With a little bit of practice for timing and strafing, it seemed to work. Because of the missed shots on the far flyers, I wondered if making the circle smaller to make sure that they fit nicely into the circle would be better. But honestly, I think wherever the circle was, you would still have to learn its timing. Now to test it on characters on the ground. So in these clips, I wanted to make sure this crosshair still worked across ranges with random character movements from 20 meters to 60 meters. And it does. Just keep activating it when the character is about to touch the edge of that crosshair line. I went back to the bots to make sure that this worked between the different ranges even if it's not exactly 20 or 40 meters. I also made sure that the timing for the circle was similar to how we started. So our sizing changes did not change the fact that we need to press right click when the enemy reaches the circumference of the circle in a diagonal direction. And here it is in action.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Maximum pulse!
Nice, beautiful, actually. Really quickly, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Here's the crosshair, so then you're not stressing out about how to make one. It's very easy. You just go under the settings tab, go under keyboard, and then combat, and underneath the HUD, if I, let's say, create a new crosshair, let me do this quickly. You just go over circles, crosshairs. It's going to kind of give you the default, but if you get rid of the reticle animation, it'll just look like this. Then you want to scroll down to the details of the crosshair radius, circle radius, and crosshair length. So crosshair length, you want to maximize it. Crosshair radius, you want to also maximize it. And then circle radius, you want to just leave at 80. But as you saw in my video, you can also use 100 if you'd like, whatever you prefer. And then just practice timing. That's very important. Then you can color it however you'd like. But this is the Crosshair. I will also be exporting the save so then it's easy for you guys in the comments below. Thank you for watching again.